Welcome to a look at the life and times of Country Roland. We are here at the birthplace of what has come to be known as Chicano Country music, which is country music with bilingual lyrics. This setting of a merging of cultures takes place right at the Texas-Mexico border, which brings us to a young Mexican-American singer with a special love for country music. Everyone knew that he loved country music, but what no one knew was that he would become a breakout music phenomenon that would set a new style of country music in motion. Country Roland Garcia ushered in a new art that would make him a powerhouse in the music industry. This is the life and times of Country Roland.
Oh man, when that man started singing, that place just lit up.
This guy went in there and did one take on each song. It was one practice, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. From start to finish, one take on each song.
A legend he is. I've probably been to a bunch of his concerts. I met him probably 20 years ago. It's country, but it was like a Tex-Mex.
Daddy was born in Valparaiso, Texas on July 27, 1932. And he lived there till he was about 5 years old. We were very little. I don't remember exactly where we were going, where he was going, but I remember he did take me and maybe my little sister Wendy, and I think my mom was with us.
And a very hard worker. He started working very, very early, and Dad loved driving an 18-wheeler. And I remember, he was driving the 18-wheeler, and I mean, we were very young at that point. Well, I don't know, how old I was at that age, at that point, but he loved to drive the 18-wheeler. When the band got going, got a little bit, when we were on the road a lot, we got a bus, and I just remember I usually sat like in the seat behind that, and he always drove. And I mean, I don't care what time of the day or night it was, Dad was behind the wheel and so alert, and so, I remember that thinking at that point, wow, I could never do this. You've been on the road, you've been performing, and now you're driving the bus. But
Dad would help anybody that wanted, they would come to him and he would just help everybody. He didn't, he never said no to anybody. And that's just who he was, People loved him. I believe I was 13 the first time I played with him. Yeah. He was having problems with his musicians and the bass player. And so they finally got a little tired of it, and my mom told him that he needed to put one of us in there, and she told him, you're gonna get Judy in to play the bass. And so that's how that happened. And I practiced for a while. He had me practicing. I believe I practiced for maybe a month or so. And he gave me some music to work with, and then he would come in at night and we would practice together.
Before there was a country singing Freddie Fender or Johnny Rodriguez, there was my granddad, Mr. Country Roland Sr. He started, I want to say, probably in about 65, late 60s, with some friends of his, local musicians. And then by the 70s, actually, it had turned into a family affair where they had brought in his daughters and his son. His catchphrases, the main one that everybody associates with and everybody knows, and we've even adorned some of our koozies with it, is 10-4. That was his response for a lot of things, and that meant that he was great and the situation was great. Adelante vamos.
I think he always knew in his heart that his goal was to be on stage, even at that age. And he had his favorites, that he would listen to and learn the songs, and he knew them by heart. And the first opportunity that he had to get on stage, he did, and he was 8 years old. And he sang a song. He was with his dad, actually, and they stopped in for a refreshment someplace. And there was a band playing, and Dad, they didn't know one of the songs that was being requested, and they asked if anybody in the audience knew it, and Dad knew it, and he was 8 years old. And he got on stage, and he did the song, and I think from that day forward, it just made him all that more sure that that's what he wanted to do. You know, and he did, and you know, Dad started at a very young age with his.
We had a total of like 10 or 12 songs that he wanted to record, and he just, so we would do one practice session, okay, da 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 da, and then bam. Next thing we do is we would record it, the whole CD. I mean, from start to finish, took about 8 hours. And I mean, that might sound a lot for a normal person off the street, but for somebody that's in the music business and knows about recording, 8 hours to record an album from start to finish. And there was no overdubs, there was no redos, there was like, oh, country, you kind of missed a word here. It's okay, it's okay. And that's the way it was recorded. The way it was recorded is the way it was released, from start to finish. This guy went in there and did one take on each song. It was one practice, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. From start to finish, one take on each song.
Oh, Country, you know, I came to know him because a band that I was gonna record was gonna bring him in to do a song with them, El Asesino. That's when I started hanging out with him. Oh man, when that man started singing, that place just lit up, man. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, and I was, you know, I had heard a lot about Country Roland. I had heard recordings of him, but when I saw the audience response that man had, and I thought it was cool, but seeing that kind of like the passion that I mean, it was a no-brainer. Oh, most definitely, he was a legend. He was always encouraging. He was always trying to get the best angle, but he wanted you to be just comfortable.
I know that like in the mid-70s, Ovation was a very popular brand, and that the band gifted him an Ovation guitar, his first Ovation guitar,
For one of his birthdays.
for one of his birthdays in 1978. So he always, after that, he always used Ovation, and he used that guitar for a very long time, and then several years later, he was gifted another Ovation. After he passed away, I got calls personally from around the world, text messages, emails. As soon as everybody found out, I had to shut my phone off. But I want to say in my teens, I knew, but you still don't realize until way later on.
You know, Dad had his favorite traditional Mexican Spanish songs that he loved, and traditional country, and he mixed those together. And yeah, we were fortunate, Dad was fortunate to have a lot of airplay. It started here, of course, here in the Valley. Pretty much everything starts here in the Valley as far as music goes, I think. But we've been in the music industry for a long time, so we've noticed that. And he had a lot of airplay on KIWW and on KGBT, KIRT, all of the Spanish radios. And then as that took off, we noticed that you know, the crowd, the fans, the attendance at the performances was getting larger and larger and larger and larger. And then Dad was getting calls from everywhere, you know, from out of the Valley, and you know, all around Texas and New Mexico and California and Florida, and we even then went to Mexico several times and performed. So yeah, we had our fan base here, and we're so fortunate to have had the people here that backed us up, and to this day we have people in our audience, because of course we're carrying on the tradition for Dad as Kicker Daddy Legacy, and we are so fortunate. Almost at every performance we have someone in the audience that has been there since, you know, the beginning.
Each moment in life is special, and I cherish them in different ways, but some of the best times of my life were on stage.
Hace un año que yo tuve una ilusión. Hace un año que se cumple en este día.
Country Roland isn't with us any longer, but his music lives on through his children and through his recordings. This has been the life and times of Country Roland.